The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everybody. This is Kim Case from the New Jersey STEM Pathways Network. Thank you for joining us this afternoon to learn about the New Jersey STEM Data Dashboard and all the progress that we've made over the last 8 months. This is an opportunity for us to really get feedback from our STEM stakeholders in the state about the data dashboard and get some valuable input before we really go live with the data dashboard in March for New Jersey STEM Month. We really envisioned this data dashboard as a way to measure outcomes and progress for STEM education and workforce development in the state. We're hoping that we get as many people as possible to use this as a resource, whether you are a K through 12 educator, a philanthropist, a parent, a STEM advocate, an industry member, to really look and see at these indicators, to look at them as, indicators of success in STEM. So with that, let's hold our questions till the end, or you can type them in your chat box, or rather you can type them in the question box and we'll kind of keep track of them, but we're not going to answer them till the end of the webinar. And then if you have a question then obviously we'll call on you towards the end. I'm going to hand this over, just so if you didn't know, everybody is muted in the meantime, just because we have many people on the webinar, but we will unmute you if you have a question at the end of the webinar. So with that, I'm going to welcome our John J. Heldrich Center for Workforce Development from the Edward J. Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy at Rutgers, our professionals, Amy Dunford and Stephanie Halcombe, and let them take over.
Hi everyone, this is Amy Dunford. So the agenda for today, I'm just going to talk about the project and give an overview of it, and then I'm going to hand it over to Stephanie and she'll talk about the data sources and walk through the dashboard with you all. So just to give you a little bit of background about us, we are located at Rutgers in New Brunswick. We've been around for over 20 years, and we are a research and policy center. We're working to raise the effectiveness of the American workplace. So we have done a lot of research and evaluations, and also have been working with the SBN on some assessments of their ecosystems and SBN in general. So this data dashboard was generated from the work we did last winter, where we did an implementation assessment of the New Jersey STEM Pathways Network and also the 4 learning ecosystems. And we, through this work, we documented the progress and also provided some recommendations. And one of our main recommendations was to identify uniform, basic, quantifiable outcome measures that all the ecosystems and also the SPN should collect to measure collective impact. And so with that, the STEM dashboard really developed out of that recommendation, and we pulled together different publicly available data sets to highlight some key STEM indicators for success, which we'll walk through. And in developing this dashboard, we really tried to get as much feedback as possible with an internal review and also having external feedback from stakeholders. In addition to this, we also fielded a supplementary district New Jersey State District Survey. So in some of the feedback we got on the STEM dashboard, we asked people what additional measures we could collect that aren't available publicly. And so we fielded this with all the school districts in New Jersey, asking them questions about if they prioritize STEM, questions on STEM extracurricular activities, STEM professional development, computer science, and also relationships with employers for STEM work-based learning experiences. And so a summary of the findings from this survey will be released when the dashboard is released. And I will hand it over to Stephanie Holcomb.
Okay, hi everybody. So first I'm just going to go through the data sources that we use in the STEM data dashboard, and then I will walk through the dashboard outline, and then finally I'll go through the actual dashboard itself. So just quickly, we used 4 main data sources for the STEM data dashboard, the bulk of which came from the New Jersey Department of Education district performance reports. So these are publicly available data sources that are required for the districts to participate in and report their data, and it ranges across broad topics, so enrollment of students by student group breakdown, test scores, teacher characteristics, graduation rates, post-secondary enrollment. So most of that was captured and included in the data dashboard as it related to STEM and the goals of the SPN. And the next 2 are the IPEDS and Department of Labor Workforce Development Employment Statistics. So these are looking at, we'll get into it, but goals for increasing some career pathways in STEM. So IPEDS takes nationally data from higher education institutions, the graduation rates by major, and then a lot of other information. But for the dashboard, we're just using the graduation rates in STEM fields by gender and race. And then the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development, we're using occupational employment statistics to just get some basic measures about STEM occupations like median wage and total number employed in the state. And then we're looking at occupational employment projections. So this was done around 2014, projecting to 2024. And we'll see some of those specific measures in the dashboard, but those include the total number that they're projecting for that occupation to be employed in New Jersey in 2024, and backtracking from there how many annual openings there will be each year, and then what the occupational outlook is for that occupation, whether it's growing, stable, or declining. And then finally, we use ONET Online to get a list of occupations that were considered STEM, and also to get some basic knowledge, skills, and abilities associated with those occupations. So here's the STEM dashboard outline. So first, we have district environment that provides some general metrics for each district, teacher experience, and then we get into the 4 main goals, and these were rooted in the SPN goals and measures that we thought we could find publicly available that would relate to those goals and be able to track them by district over time. And then finally, we have a slide on the STEM labor force in New Jersey. I'll go into the dashboard now. Okay, so this is the main page of the dashboard. And this will most likely be embedded into a web page once the dashboard itself is embedded on the SPN site in the next month or so. And this just provides some basic information about the dashboard, what the goals are, and then some links to additional information, a walkthrough of how to use the dashboard, and then a list of terms and acronyms and data sources in the dashboard. So if you click down here, you can see a table of contents of each of the tabs. So first we'll go to district environment. And up in the right-hand side, you can click through and search for what district you want to look at. So I'm going to go to New Brunswick. And you can change the year, so I'll go to 2016. And here again, you just get some general information about the district. So you have the total number of students enrolled in the district, free or reduced lunch rate compared to the state average, number of AP courses offered, students per device, and internet speed, seeing that the state recommends 100 there. We have noticed some reporting issues on CTE participation rate and dual enrollment rate, and this is really at the district level how they classify these things and how they're reported to the state. So they may very well have some type of CTE courses and likely do at the district, but just the way that they're implemented doesn't meet the reporting requirements, so it's listed as 0 here. And you'll see that change by the district and throughout year, and some districts certainly have very high rates, but here you'll see it's 0 for New Brunswick. On the right-hand side, we have district enrollment by race. You can see for New Brunswick, majority Hispanic, and if you hover over, you can see the actual percent. And if you want to see any of these enlarged, you can just click in the right-hand corner, and you can see a bigger version of that. Moving down, we have the graduation rate versus the state average. So you'll see in 2016, the graduation rate for New Brunswick was 69.5% compared to the state average of 90%. And then down here, you'll see post-secondary enrollment rate versus the state average, so 63.4% versus the state average of 76%. You see they're falling a little bit short of the state average there for both measures. Lastly, on this page are two direct reports from the district themselves as they're providing this information. So it's a statement on their district extracurricular activities and then their parent involvement. And again, this comes directly from the district and what they're reporting that they're doing in these areas. Now we'll move into the teacher characteristics slide. So again, once you click through the district and year, it'll follow you through for the subsequent tabs. So on the left, you have teacher effectiveness rating, and this shows teachers can be rated partially effective, effective, or highly effective. You'll see none were rated partially effective here. Most were rated effective. And again, if you hover over, it'll show you about the percent breakdown of that. Then you have district teacher racial breakdown, so what the race of the teachers in the district are by percent. Here you have the student to teacher ratio, the average years experience in the district of the teacher versus the state average. So you'll see the state average is 10.5 years. In New Brunswick, it's 8 years. And then percent teacher retention in the district. So that's 1 year retention. State average is 89. The average here is 90. You see they're right on track there. Now I'll move into the 4 goals slide. This first one is increasing student participation in STEM education. So the 3 measures we are looking at is AP course enrollment by year, math course enrollment, and science course enrollment. Up at the top, we see AP course enrollment by course and then by year. So 2015, 16, and 17, and then you'll see the number of students enrolled in each of those courses. Down at the bottom, you can see math course enrollment and science course enrollment starting in 2017. So this just shows you a breakdown of what courses students were enrolled in by grade level. So for 6th, 7th, 8th grade, it's mostly other math, and they get into Algebra 1, geometry, and so on. Similarly for science, they start with physics, move into chemistry, and then you have a mix in 11th and 12th grade. The next goal is increasing equity in STEM education. So you'll see some of the exams that are given broken down by student group. So science proficiency in grade 4 and grade 8, and then HARC score broken down by student group and race. Just a note on the science, we do know that New Jersey is transitioning, and the most recent year we have in here is 2016-17. So we're looking forward to the new round of data to come out to see how that change will impact how we're reporting science here. So this is, again, broken down by student group. And then for PARCC scores, math PARCC scores by student group and race, and this is percent that either met or exceeded. And you'll see for some districts, they're reporting more races and student groups than others, and this is just by the suppression standards. So if there weren't enough students in any group, it's not going to show up here. Okay, the next one is increasing student performance in STEM education. So again, this is looking at some of those exams and at a higher level, just across the board, how many are scoring partially proficient, proficient, or advanced proficient. And this is grade 4 science, grade 8 science, and biology. And you can compare across the 3 years what the breakdown was like. On the right-hand side, there's the average math PARCC score by grade level. So you can see for some, either there weren't enough students to report at the district level, or they just don't take that. So you can see the district versus the state average on both of these for PARCC and the national exams, SAT and ACT. For some schools, you'll also see the PSAT here. Okay, and this is the last goal, promoting stackable qualifications, credentials, and real-world connections. So we chose 5 measures here to compare the district and the state. that fall into this kind of career pathways goal. So CTE, structured learning experiences, dual enrollment, post-secondary enrollment, and then percent scoring 3 or higher on the AP exams. And that's across all subjects, as that's how it's reported right now. And then down here, this is more of a placeholder for now, as it just started in 2017. You'll see that nobody is listed there now, but if you go to one of the vocational schools, you can see a list of industry valued credentials earned and in what career cluster and the total number of credentials earned. So as this is something new, it's only in 2017 that you're going to see any of this, and it's only for a select number of schools that actually have this, but in the future it should begin to be populated for more districts. This school actually has a second slide. So this pulls back to the statewide level, so we're no longer looking at New Brunswick. This is just across the state, and this is that IPEDS and labor and workforce development data. So on the left-hand side, we're looking at post-secondary completion in STEM majors. So here you can search for a STEM major, so we can look at engineering. We'll look at 2017, so you can see the breakdown between associate's and bachelor's degrees, how many men and women completed those degrees in that year. And you can also see the breakdown by race for associate's and bachelor's degrees in engineering. And then if you move to the right-hand side, you can look at occupations. So if we want to look at engineering here as well, we'll go to civil engineers. You can see the occupation description, the number employed in the state, the median wages, what ONET considers to be most important skills for the occupation, and then some of those occupational projections from labor and workforce development. You can see that this occupation is growing. There's about 270 annual openings projected, and 60 of those annual openings will be due to growth and not replacement. So the final slide is the STEM labor force overview. So on the left side, you'll see statewide STEM employment for occupations above 6,000 employees. And that's just to limit the number of slices in the pie here because it gets pretty busy. So you'll see the largest chunk is registered nurses, software developers, licensed practical and licensed vocational nurses, computer programmers, and computer systems analysts. And then jumping over to the right-hand side, you'll see the annual number of projected openings by STEM occupation. And again, limiting this at 150 or more openings per year. And it's a very similar breakdown that you'll see the bulk of it is registered nurses, software developers, vocational nurses, computer programmers, and physicians and surgeons. You get some change here, but the bulk of it is mostly the same, and that's just to say that the annual projected openings looks a lot like the current environment of STEM occupations in the state, but it's certainly possible that over time this will change as the labor force changes. Okay, so those are all the dashboard slides, and now we're happy to take any questions or feedback from that.
Okay, great. Thank you, ladies. So I was looking, so people can start filling their questions in, or you can also click on the button and raise your hand if you have a question. I'm looking back on this, and it looks like Karen McGee Sawyer had a question about, is there a way to get the statistics for the whole state or the county? So I know that we have some statistics in relation to the whole state. Karen, do you want me to unmute you because you raised that question at a specific time, so maybe you want to elaborate. I'm trying to unmute you. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, I was just saying it'd be really nice to know. I mean, first of all, the dashboard's fantastic, but I would really like to know if, like, could I see what Gloucester County looked like compared to Camden County, like, and not just have it be so much district. It'd be great to look at it by county.
Yeah, so right now all of the data is reported at the district level. There's certainly a way to do it by county. I'd be afraid that the way that we average it out and pull it up and compare across counties might not be exactly right. So I would be nervous to do that at this point, but that's certainly something we can consult with DOE about what their standards around that would be. But as it is reported now, there is a county code for each district. So I think it would be possible to do that.
Thanks. That would be very helpful.
Okay, sorry, just trying to unmute and unmute. Okay, mute again. So, all right, does anybody else have any questions? I'm going to look and see if anybody has their hand raised. Okay, yes, Trish, you have your hand raised. I'm going to unmute you. Okay, Trish.
You got me? Okay. First of all, I have to apologize. I had a really exciting phone call, so I kind of I missed a couple of minutes. But what I don't know if I missed this. Was there any way to show if the elementary schools, besides like testing and that, if they're actually teaching STEM content? Is there any way to figure that out? Or are we only able to say this is their scores for, the science and, or did I miss that because I did have Steve Adubato? Did I miss that in the beginning?
So Stephanie and Amy, I don't know if you just want to address a little bit about the survey and what we got from the survey.
Yeah, so it's not something that we can really see from the district performance reports that DOE has right now, how much is integrated into their curriculum. We can certainly see their scores, and that's really it at that elementary level. So we did do the supplementary survey, and that went out to all districts to get some more feedback that wasn't reported to DOE, and some more kind of explanations about some of these things and getting their feedback on that. So that did have information about whether or not STEM was integrated into their curriculum and professional development, and like Amy said, all those other measures, and that was broken down by schools with and without 9th through 12th grades. So we can include that as an element of the report. So we'll be breaking those down between the two grade level groups. You can look at that.
No, that'd be great, because I know just locally, like there's a lot of question on who is responsible for the engineering standards, and the science teacher, when we're doing Lego, says, well, I don't have to do that, and it just causes friction sometimes. So and that's where I am in elementary, so I was just curious, if there's anything we could do to help with accountability on that. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I would say from the STEM Pathways Network perspective, this is something that came up in even a smaller focus group about, kind of how are people defining STEM and thinking about it as a concept for teaching and pedagogy. And I think that this is something that we may want to consider for our priority groups and the work that we're doing in our priority groups to think about, is there something that at the SPN level that we could do? And maybe that starts with maybe doing a survey again next year about this and trying to dig a little bit deeper on what would be helpful to districts in understanding the concept of STEM and integrating STEM into their the districts in their classroom. So stay tuned. Trish also as leadership for the teacher recruitment and training group, this is something I think that after we sort of get through some of our other initiatives might be a focus for 1920. So definitely appreciate that comment. Do I have anybody else that has any questions? I'm looking. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised. Let me see if there's any questions in here. Pavi wanted to know if we could go back and show the survey-based slides, but Pavi, it really was the process of the survey and not really any of the responses. Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, or Stephanie, you're going to provide the responses on the survey or some sort of documentation on the survey results when we launch the dashboard, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we'll be analyzing those data, and then there'll be a document that provides the findings from that.
Yeah, we imagine that'll probably be linked to the introduction on the same page that the dashboard is embedded on.
Okay. Vinashri just asked a question about, do we have any data on STEM teacher salaries?
We have
Amy.
some data on teacher salaries in general, but I don't think there's any breakdown by what they teach.
Okay. Karen had a follow-up question about, do we have any statistics for teacher certifications in math and science in high schools?
I don't have that right now, and I would be interested if you know anywhere that there's publicly available, because we did look around a little bit, but we didn't find exactly what we wanted at the district level for math and science specifically.
Okay. Karen, I'm going to try and unmute you really quick and see if you have any thoughts on where we could pull that information from. Oh, now you self-muted yourself. I unmuted you.
Okay, now I got it. I was trying to unmute myself. Okay, so I know, for example, nationwide, for chemistry and physics high school, only 40% of teachers actually have a degree in chemistry or physics, whereas like social studies, it's like 80%. And there's also, of those people who have a degree in physics or chemistry, it's like half of them are certified. So there is data at the national level, and I would love to know that, how it breaks down for New Jersey. Now I can go and look to see, I can ask the people where they got those statistics and ask them where they got them, because I'm sure they're done by state. The other thing is, and so if you'd like me to do that, I can follow up with that. And then I have another question.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to, info you could provide me, I'll throw my email in the chat box so everybody has it. But what is your next question?
The other thing was getting back to salaries, because I'm on a project where we're trying to recruit students into high school math, chemistry, and physics, because there's such a strong need for those. And one of the misconceptions that students have is that teachers don't make a lot of money. And actually being able to say what the salaries are for high school math and science teachers, and I know it's not really discipline related, that would be really great information to get easily. I know where to find it, but boy, is it hard. And they just give median salaries, and they, and so a lot of times it might look like one school district pays a lot more than another, but it really is that they just have older teachers. So just salary information about maybe starting salary for a 20-year teacher, salary for a 30-year teacher, etc., would be very useful.
Yeah, we can take another look at how that data is reported, and if it's possible to put it on the teacher characteristics page.
Great, thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to mute here. Let's see, did anybody else have a question? Looking through, I don't see any questions there. And let's see in my box. Okay, is there any way, this is Giovanni, is there any way to help with building the dashboard, collecting or cleaning the data?
I think, Kim, folks are offering support and helping to build the dashboard, collect or clean the data.
Oh, nice. Okay, great.
There's a few that are asking to help out with that. So Stephanie and Amy, is there a way that folks can get in contact with you, or what's the best way for folks to offer some support? I guess that question is for you too, Kim.
Yeah, I mean, I see Ian and Giovanni who offered a way to help. So, you know, I guess, yeah, I can just connect with them offline and have an understanding of what they have, what information they have, and then connect with Heldrich on, you know, some of the information to see how that makes sense. You know, the other thing that we do have to consider is we have to update this information every year. So we do have to consider like kind of what the lift is. This was not an incredibly expensive project, and that's how it has to be on our end. But if we do want to think about building things out, then we can consider other ways to try and raise money to support it, because I do think that this is a great resource, and, you know, really the first of its kind in our state, to really try and focus on data when it comes to STEM education and workforce development. So Giovanni and Ian, I will touch base with you guys offline, and we can go from there. Yeah, great. Thank you guys. I think I answered, wait, let's see. Oh, Ian, though, you have your hand up, so maybe I'll unmute you really quick to see if you want to add anything or have a different question. Okay, Ian.
Yeah, no, I was just offering information that we have available back to 1996 on teachers by job code and salary.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let me see. Anybody? Oh, Tunde has a question, but not his hand up. So it says, go to the questions panel. Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, Tunde, I'm unmuting you. There you go.
All right, thanks. In terms of updating the dashboard, depending on how the dashboard was constructed, it can automatically be updated when the source raw data is added to or updated. The dashboard, was it designed that way?
So the district Department of Education data was a little bit tricky because it changes a bit per year, and then matching it across, just the way that you pull it down, it's in a lot of different tabs. So we don't have it set up right now to update automatically. I think once the data, if it were to be reported on a standard way each year and not require a lot of cleaning on our end, then that would be the case. But I think it would probably always need a little bit of support on that side.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm gonna unmute Vinashri because it looks like she has a question, but I don't know if I answered it in going through my. So Vinashri, did we answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Anybody else that I did not call on? All right. I mean, so right now, if there's anything else that, first, I appreciate you guys taking the time to take a look at this and to give us feedback, and to provide, definitely thank you to those people who'd be interested in helping us support this work as we move forward. We're very excited about this. We really do thank the Heldrich Center and Amy and Stephanie for all of their hard work on this, and Lori, who couldn't be on the webinar, but also worked on this. We feel very proud that this is an initiative from the STEM Pathways Network, and for all of you who take part in our work, thank you for, helping us shepherd this along. I know we introduced this in September and there were some good remarks there. And, as we continue to engage people in this work, we really do appreciate all of your input and your time on this. So we will go ahead and make some changes. We expect to launch this for March 1 at our STEM Pathways Network quarterly meeting, which is at NJIT. Maybe Alex can quickly put a link into the chat box for the RSVP. I hope you guys can attend. It's going to be a terrific event. I encourage all of you to take part in our STEM Month events. Any tweeting you do, hashtag NJ STEM Month would be great to add to it. If you have any events, you can certainly go to njstempathways.org and you can populate our calendar with any events you have for New Jersey STEM Month in March, or not, doesn't have to be in March either. We're fully functional the other 11 months of the year as well. So please add any events that you have to our calendar. And as always, Alex and I are here as a resource, so feel free to connect with either of us on any questions or thoughts that you have in regards to the work of the New Jersey STEM Pathways Network. So I thank everybody for their time, especially the Heldrich group, and I look forward to launching this and knowing that this is going to be a very exciting initiative on behalf of the New Jersey STEM Pathways Network. So thank you, everybody, and hopefully I'll see you all on March 1st at our New Jersey STEM Pathways quarterly meeting.